I'm not a big fan of the Life Vest. Don't get close to it.
Lowell, you take it up. You take it
Like a
over.
backpack.
Still, it's 5:59. We got 1 minute.
Like small. And it's probably 5, 6, 7 pounds, but weighing it down on the side.
For the back. I didn't bring my thing. Catherine had it last time. They won't say that.
Because how they do surgery, they have to wear that big.
For the RBC, that would be because it's such a big area for selected timing. I don't know. Oh, you're welcome.
I know, I said the Scots, and I was South Alicia. I'm misleading everybody. I should have said the future Scots.
The golf tournaments that I've been to, it's the steering around. Now there's so much choices.
Yeah. Well, that's, I did tell him, I was like,
Yeah, that's it.
and
But that would be much.
I don't know the RBC in a couple months. And he wants to get married in the church, which I respect. So, yeah, I know. I
It's still.
I actually did like a super culture.
well, like his buddy during COVID, married, and then they had a kid and everything, and then they went on to have a big shit. It was great. They were able to save up.
We're coming back from executive session. We have nothing to report at this time, so now we'll go straight into the public hearing. And we're here to discuss the mosquito fogging program and the access, well, to assess the community support for this service. So we'll start it out with the public hearing for 6 o'clock. And so we'll officially call this meeting to order. All right, everybody's very quiet. This is the public's opportunity. Oh, yeah, right before you come up, I do need to remind everybody, you have 5 minutes, 5-minute limit per speaker, so I forgot to remind everybody, so thank you for taking a little bit of time to come up, Rick. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'm not sure why we're discussing it, but it sounds like we're discussing it on the benefits or the lack of benefit of fogging. And I saw something recently this week where mosquitoes kill about 1 million people a year. I was surprised by that. And I think that if we stop fogging, then what we run the risk of is it getting out of hand in time. So I think we do need to fog. Now, I do know that there is I think the Wildlife Federation, when I looked up, said that it does have a harmful effect to bees and colonies of bees. But speaking with one of the gentlemen here, he said that they've got 7 of those identified, and that through there, they just don't fog those areas. But for those of us that are on the lake, we have plenty of mosquitoes, so I'm all in favor of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, just about, yeah, sure, thank you.
This is something I started thinking about a long time ago. I mentioned last time I looked into it years ago when I was concerned, and I got MSDS and read about it and decided it wasn't really a risk for me, and I looked at all the things. But I made a list of things. I won't be able to go into the details tonight, but it's sort of a damn if you don't, because who is spraying is for the people who are more susceptible to the conditions, but the spraying is also people more susceptible to the spraying itself. So the people who it's for will suffer somehow, whether it's sprayed or not. So, and that's hard to determine. I mean, that's sort of a big question. But another one is that it's a very, very low amount that's sprayed. I can go into detail about that. Also, what this gentleman was talking about is a condition that's been treated for a long time with the spraying. So if we suddenly stopped after so many years, who would the rest of the ecosystem have to compensate for the mosquito population? Nobody knows how much it would increase. And we're not, as far as I know, I talked to the Public Works, we're not measuring. So that's one thing, we don't know what, I think there's technology now, they can measure mosquito populations, more tests can determine what viral diseases and mosquitoes we're even carrying. We're not measuring for any of those things. So that would be a thing where we could do better as a measure. Testing, is Clemson University spraying? I have no idea. I wondered about that. I'm more concerned though, and I did some calculations. So the people with the gardens, the amount is so low that if everything fell out of the air at the time of spraying, the full amount they spray, 0.007 pounds per acre is what they spray. I don't know if that's on one of the sheets. If that is sprayed and it all stays in the air and it drops out of the air and everything else drops out of the air, it would cover an area of 62 square millimeters out of 1 million square meters. So the amount that's in the air is very, very small. So if this fell on a garden, you would have less than 1 square centimeter. It would, spread over that meter, but it's a very small amount that we'd have in a garden, and that's if you don't wash it off. So, but I'm more concerned when I did the numbers about wood smoke, and I'm going to compare that to this. The numbers of wood smoke are just enormously higher. It's kind of staggering. And I had a neighbor. So anyway, I'm much more concerned about wood smoke, and that's a different subject. But I consider this just the particulate matter from wood smoke is if you replaced $1 of electricity and heated with wood instead, you would put more into the air over the area. Clemson is about 20 billion square meters of area. So just that particle matter from burning the equivalent of $1 of electricity for 24 hours will put more in the air than EPA says is good. So wood smoke is a different subject, but that's much more of a concern to me. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Any other comments? All right, I'm going to read some comments that were submitted. So this was submitted, I'm 100% in favor of the continued spraying for mosquitoes. As one of the farm managers for pasture land on Clarendon Drive, mosquitoes pose a threat that they live on the property as they carry eastern and western, I don't want to pronounce this. Disease. Thank you. Encephalitis. Thank you, Mr. Brookover. You are a doctor. Encephalitis virus in humans. And then, this is from Matt Culper, malaria, I can't even talk, can be spread. Spraying in the evening can reduce the number of infected adult mosquitoes. Mosquitoes also carriers of heartworms that affect dogs and cats. I believe that the positive effects of spraying outweighs the negative effects. Matt Culber, 199 Holden Drive in Clemson. We have another comment here. As a Clemson resident along the banks of Rock Creek, I'm in favor of continuing the city's mosquito fogging program and its previous schedule. I believe the program over the last several years has been very effective in reducing the issues mosquitoes present to property and health. Please consider continuing the program. 104 Creekview Drive, and that is Roy Scott. And the last comment we have is, as a resident of Clemson, I do not support the city's mosquito fogging program. Mosquito fogging is not in line with the commitment that city has made to improving our natural environment, such as being named a Monarch City in 2022. Fogging is not specific to mosquitoes and kills other adult insects. Plus, fogging does not treat the mosquitoes that may hatch shortly after the city's biweekly treatments, rendering the fogging ineffective in mosquitoes. In my opinion, each citizen can take precautions within their own home and property to treat mosquitoes, but wholesale fogging takes away that autonomy for others to choose not to engage in their own pesticide or insecticide. Most of the most effective ways of treating mosquitoes involve simple methods such as removing small standing bodies of water from around the yard. The amount of funds that the city expends on fogging could be in turn used for education campaign to inform residents how they can slow or prevent mosquito breeding around their homes. 110 Robin Street, Clemson, and this is from Kristen Knight. Any other comments?
John Crowley. I live in 111 Gregory Street. Just to mention on that comment about everybody taking care of their own yard, that doesn't take into account, I actually support continuing the fogging. I actually do a secondary service through a private company as well on my lot. But I have a vacant lot across the road from me that's dense and overgrown, and a lot of mosquitoes come over from there. So even if everybody takes care of their own, unless you're going to enforce unimproved lots and things like that, and you have to clear underbrush and have those people spray, that's still going to pose a threat to neighboring properties. And I don't think it's fair to require everybody to hire out a private service or anything like that. I think the fogging program does a good job of knocking things back. And then some of us that are in areas where it's a denser neighborhood or there are some natural lots, if you will, nearby, then we can do a private service to kind of knock back any excess.
Thank you. Any other comments? Jeremiah, did we get everything? Did we get everything? There were three, right? There were three that were submitted. There are no other comments. We'll close out public hearing. We'll re-adjourn. I'm looking at the time. It's 6:20. 6:10? Oh. I just added 10 minutes. Thank you, Bob. It's 6:11. It's 6:11 on here, actually, Bob. So we'll come back at 6:25. So we'll take a 15-minute break. And so we'll close out public hearing. Thank you very much. All right, good evening. What a great crowd here tonight. Thank you all for being here of our City Council meeting, May 6, 2024. We'll start off with the invocation and the pledge. Mayor Pro Tem Smith is going to lead us, but I believe she's going to defer it.
I am. And can Chris Garcia and Emily Tursett come up to the podium? Chris? Yes. Come on up. Chris is going to lead us in the invocation, and then Emily is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Chris?
Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome to join us. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for Clemson Life. Thank you for all of the experience that we both on campus and our community. Thank you to all of our patients who helped make Clemson so special and incredible. Thank you to the city of Clemson for making Clemson Life a forever part of our city. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you.
Wonderful job. Thank you. So it's our honor to read this first proclamation, and I'll read it first, and then we'll have a chance to elaborate a little bit more, but let me just jump right in. This is a proclamation for Clemson Life Day, May 6, 2024. Whereas the Clemson Life program at Clemson University offers a post-secondary collegiate experience that prepares young men and women with intellectual disabilities for competitive employment and independent living through functional academics, independent living, employment, and social leisure skills in a public university. Whereas the Clemson Life program was founded on the belief that young adults all go through a similar development process that requires certain activities, experience, and support in order to develop skills and understanding about themselves and the world around them in order to fully participate in society and to become successful, contributing adults. Whereas students in the Clemson Life program receive instruction in basic skills such as functional mathematics and literacy, social skills, employment skills, and health and wellness, and also enroll in university leisure skill courses and are involved in a variety, and I'll emphasize the word, variety of student and community organizations. Whereas students in the basic and advanced programs live on campus in 4-bedroom apartments, each of which has an on-site independent living assistant, which allows these students to learn how to be more effectively managing their time, use public transportation, prepare healthy meals for themselves, and maintain a schedule. Whereas students in the hospitality certificate program focus more specifically on work-based skills and hospitality skills and the ability to receive additional training and certifications, hazmat, and customer service. Whereas this program has 42, and I'll say it again, 42 active business partners with students employed in 13 locations on campus and 29 locations off campus. Again, 13 on campus and 29 off campus, where they form lasting bonds and connections with their employees, co-workers, and patrons while learning valuable life skills. Whereas over the last 15 years, more than 100 Clemson Life students have graduated. Again, over 100, more than 40 of whom are living in Clemson. Thank you very much. Of those graduates, 97%, again, I will say it again, of those graduates, 97% are employed and 67% live independently. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfaker, Mayor of the City of Clemson, do proclaim May 6, 2024 as Clemson Life Day in recognition of the achievements of the Clemson Life students and graduates and the dedication of the Clemson Life staff and volunteer. In witness whereof, I here set my hand and have caused the great seal of the city to be affixed the 6th day of May 2024. Congratulations. you. Thank you. Erica, I believe you're going to come out and give us a little bit more details, so thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor it is to celebrate Clemson Life Day today. We come here together not only to acknowledge this incredible program that Clemson Life is, but also to recognize the profound impact it has on our community. Clemson Life represents more than just a program. It embodies the spirit of authentic inclusion. That is the heart of Clemson University and the city of Clemson. It provides the opportunity for individuals with intellectual disabilities, offering them this pathway of education, independence, employment, and fulfillment. Many have asked us, how do we cultivate this remarkable culture of inclusivity right here in Clemson? The answer lies in the essence of who we are. You can't manufacture the sense of belonging and acceptance that defines this community. It's woven into the very fabric of Clemson itself. Today, as we celebrate Clemson Life Day, we celebrate the power of partnership, collaboration, and none of this happens in isolation. It takes a collective effort and a shared commitment and a sense of belonging to something greater than ourselves. It takes Clemson. It's the heart and soul of this community. To the business partners in the city of Clemson, thank you. Thank you for being an integral part of this journey. Your support, your collaboration, and dedication are invaluable to continue this foster of an environment where everyone is welcomed, valued, and embraced. As we're here today, let us reaffirm our commitment to building a future of inclusivity, not only a goal, but make it that reality. A future where every individual, regardless of the ability, has the opportunity to thrive and contribute meaningfully into our society. Thank you for being part of this journey. Together we're Clemson, and together we can continue to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are going to try to do a giant picture up here. So everybody comes on up. You get to come on up.
I think y'all need to come up some so we can get behind y'all. I'll get in the back here. Yeah, y'all students, y'all come up.
Look overshadow everybody. I'll get back with you, Chris. Good job, buddy.
Thank you. Hey,
You did great.
come back here with us.
Yes.
Come back here.
I'm the tall guy. I'm the tall guy. Tall guy. All right.
Back. You want to sit right here in the middle? Welcome, welcome. Glad you guys are here. Thank you for being here.
All right. This is well
It's
organized.
got my tippy toes.
Ain't too easy.
Everybody knew.
Too easy!
You got to.
Too easy!
Get them, boys.
Let's make that all right.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, 10 guy now. Hey, 15. Hey, 30, whatever.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's short for push-ups, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much.
We're Sailor's parents, so thank you so much. He's a freshman this year.
Happy for the evening.
An email?
I sent you a text message.
We're gonna all turn us back here.
What are we doing?
officers. I just saw her. Judge did.
We're excited.
Yeah.
I just thought it
Guess
was
we'll
good
find
pictures
out.
from this, from here.
So we'll keep it going. That's a great way to start. Jeremiah, you get recognized now. So another great thing here. You ready? So we have 2 more proclamations tonight. This next one I have is the 55th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, which is May 5th through May 11th. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at all levels. Whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organization. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of this office. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfaker, Mayor of the City of Clemson, do hereby recognize the week of May 5th through May 11th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to Jeremiah Jackson and to all that he does for the vital services he performs and his dedication to the communities he represents. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and have caused the great seal of the city to be affixed this 6th day of May 2024. Congratulations. Thank you for all that you do. You had very hard shoes to fill with Beverly, but you've done a fabulous job, and we greatly appreciate all your work, so thank you very much. Do you want a picture? I didn't think so, that's why I asked it that way. So
Thank you, Jeremiah.
So thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
Next, we have the honor of a proclamation for Peace Officers Memorial Day and Clemson Police Week, May 12th through May 18th. Whereas in every American community, law enforcement officers, thank you, Chief, for being here, as well as many others, are committed to the preservation of life and property, risking their lives to protect us from all who would mock the law, providing protection, law, and order, and serving the cause of justice. Whereas law enforcement officers, including members of the Clemson Police Department, accept a profound responsibility and work to uphold laws, safeguard our rights and freedoms, and serve on the front lines in the fight against crime and terrorism. Whereas we honor all law enforcement officers, especially those who have given their lives so that others might live, asking God's blessing for the families and friends they left behind. Whereas by joint resolution approved October 1st of 1962 as amended, Congress authorized President Kennedy proclaim May 15th of each year Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of the federal, state, and municipal officers who've been killed or disabled in the line of duty, further designating the calendar week in which May 15th falls as Police Week, and has directed that flags be flown at half-staff on Peace Officers Memorial Day under public law as amended. Whereas across the nation, Police Week is observed with ceremonies including the hanging of a blue bow or ribbon to honor law enforcement officers who have sacrificed their lives in the line of duty to honor those who still strive to keep us safe. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfaker, Mayor of the City of Clemson, do proclaim Wednesday, May 15, 2024, as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and May 12th through 18th as Clemson Police Week, and ask all citizens of Clemson to join me in honoring the standing and the fallen. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the great seal of the city to be affixed this 6th day of May 2024. Chief, would you like to say something? Yes, sir.
Mayor, council members, thank you very much. We appreciate your support. Just as information that you may or may not see in the news, this year, 282 officers killed in the line of duty were added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, 118 of which were killed during 2023, and 164 in previous years that were now being remembered. Unfortunately, one of the names added this year is Officer Hare from Easley. And we had a grim reminder 2 weeks ago, just 2 hours up the road. Sorry. Been to too many of those. But we greatly appreciate the support.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief, again, and for everybody that serves. Thank you very much. You're back up? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the privilege of swearing in four officers, well, 3 officers, correction officer, what, 3? Well, 4 officers. So this is very,
Yes.
Yes, sir. I'll turn it over.
Officers Sanders, Reyes, Frady, and Control, you come up. Okay, so just a reminder to everybody in the room, these officers have not only been hired, but they've attended the academy and they finished their field training. And so now they're being sworn in as we call solo status. So they're no longer in training, although we continue to train even after we get out of training. So I'll introduce each of them to you. I'll first start with Officer Jennifer Sanders. She is one of our telecommunicator jailers. She has 3 kids, 2 dogs, and 1 husband. She said only 1 husband. But she applies there. She's originally from Anderson, South Carolina. Prior to getting into this line of work, she worked 12 years as a psych and nursing assistant in the hospital and medical fields. Her hobbies involve waterfall hikes, reading, and painting. So that's Jennifer. We have Officer Maritza Bell Reyes. She is 33 years old. She was born in New York City, but spent many years in Mexico learning about her heritage and learning Spanish, which that's the only way I'm going to learn Spanish, is if you drop me in the middle of the country. She began her law enforcement career in 2017 at the Spartanburg County Detention Center facility, where she was a correctional officer learning good de-escalation tactics. She then began to proceed her career in uniform patrol and started in the Welford Police Department in 2018 through 2020, and then transferred to the Walhalla Police Department to be closer to home, and then we picked her up starting now. Thank you. Through her years of service, she earned numerous awards, Rookie of the Year for excellence in DUI arrests, DUI victim services, and anti-underage drinking programs in South Carolina during the year of the 2019 statewide competition, and was also awarded Officer of the Year for DUI arrests in 2021. So that's Officer Reyes. And then I'm going to try and get through the handwriting here. Okay, so I have Officer Frady, who is 26 years old. He's from Easley. He went to Easley High School and graduated in 2015. Looked like a 3, okay, 15. Married for 4 years, and the father of a beautiful 1-year-old who's not here, right? Okay. And his family is the reason for becoming a police officer. He hopes to become the best officer he can and be an officer that anyone can turn to help him in serving in the community. And then I have Officer Cantrell, who is 33 and originally from Anderson. He went to Westside High School. He's a proud father of 3 beautiful girls. I'm sorry, 3 beautiful children, 2 girls and 1 boy, who are right up there. And I'll concur with the beautiful part. Looking forward to serving his community as well and being a great officer for the city of Clemson. So I'm going to
Turn it over to the judges.
Do you want them to swear them in?
Yeah, they're on the,
Okay.
they're here.
So,
Mickey's face.
Yeah, okay.
so
Well, you were on the agenda.
They do their own.
Yeah.
when the judge, I have learned over the years, when the judge says no, that means no.
But we have the judges here. I know they're getting sworn in too, so. Anyway, Chief,
I'm not
sorry.
telling the judge what to do.
We digress. It's all good.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to swear all four of you in at the same time, so please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you're duly qualified according to the Constitution of this state to exercise the duties of the office to which you've been appointed? Ethics first, and then we'll do the officer code of ethics. At the end, I will ask you if you agree with this. If you agree, you're still employed. If you don't agree, we're going to have a talk. All right, you ready? So, as an officer employed with the detention correctional capacity, you swear and affirm to be a good citizen and credit to your community, state, and nation at all times. You will abstain from all questionable behavior which might be I can't even know what that word is. Dispute, I don't know, to the agency of which you work, my family, my community, and your associates. Your lifestyle will be above reproach, and you will constantly strive to set an example of a professional to perform your duties according to the laws of our country, state, and community, and the policies, procedures, written, verbal orders, and regulations of the agency for which you work. Do you agree? Thank you. All right, now for our officers. As a law enforcement officer, your fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all to liberty, equality, and justice. I will keep my private life unsullied as an example to all, and will behave in a manner that does not bring discredit to me or my agency. I will remain courageous, calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule, develop self-restraint, and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others, honest in thought and deed, both in my personal and official life. I will be exemplary in obeying the law and regulations of my department. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confided to me in my official capacity will be kept ever secret unless revelation is necessary in the performance of your duty. You will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, political beliefs, aspirations, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. With no compromise for crime and with the relentless prosecution of criminals, you will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear or favor, malice, or ill will, never employing unnecessary force or violence, and never accepting gratuities. You recognize the badge of your office as a symbol of public faith and accept it as public trust to be held so long as you are true to the ethics of the police service. You will never engage in acts of corruption or bribery, nor will you condone such acts by other officers. You will cooperate with all legally authorized agencies and their representatives in the pursuit of justice. You know that you alone are responsible for your own standard of professional performance and will take every reasonable opportunity to enhance and improve your level of knowledge and competence. You will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating yourself before God and your chosen profession, law enforcement. Do you agree? And you're still employed. Okay. That is it. You want to take photographs?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You're becoming a veteran.
Scouts.
Okay.
Two heads. You stand there.
I like the sound of that.
You got them in
I think you need a family portrait up here.
Yeah.
I think you need those kids up here.
Pictures of family? No, family? Okay, you're good. Thank you. Thank you, Chicky. Appreciate it. Next, Jeremiah is going to come up and do the oath of office for our two judges. Get to come on up. Looking sharp. Look at claps and everything. I love it. That's great.
It's always good to have your own cheering section.
That's great.
Come on over. Hand right here. Raise your right hand. There we go. All right, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified,
I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been appointed,
to exercise the duties of the office of which I've been appointed,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge those duties,
discharge those duties,
and will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
and will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
of this state and of the United States.
of this state and of the United States.
I pledge to uphold the integrity
I pledge to uphold the integrity
and independence of the judiciary.
and independence of the judiciary.
I pledge, in the discharge of my duties,
I pledge in the discharge of my duties
to treat all persons who enter the courtroom
to treat all persons who enter the courtroom
with civility, fairness, and respect.
with civility, fairness, and respect.
I pledge to listen courteously,
I pledge to listen courteously,
sit impartially,
sit impartially,
act promptly,
act promptly,
and rule after careful and considerate deliberation.
and rule after careful and considerate deliberation.
I pledge to seek justice and justice alone.
I pledge to seek justice and justice alone.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
I was going to say, that was a contest, who was going to crack up first, I'm just saying.
Hey, Bill. I'm sitting back there.
Thank you both for your service. Thank you. All right, I'm going to say something before we go into public session. If you'd like to stay, you're more than welcome to stay. We all know that you have families at home, but this is your chance. And there goes Matt. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So next, we'll turn it over to public session. Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes, it seems like we've been here for a minute. This is the time, if you'd like to make any comments to the public, from the public, anything that is not already on the agenda. So this is your opportunity. We ask that you speak. You have about 3 minutes. That's the limit. And we ask that you state your name and your residence, and then also sign in as well. The sign-in sheet is on the desk over there by Jeremiah. And so we'd love to hear from you. If you have something you'd like to share with us that is not already on the agenda. Okay. Well, I do have some comments, but just anyone before I go on? Just making sure. I do have a couple of comments, so if you're still thinking about it, I'll read these comments and check and see if anyone still has anything they'd like to say, and if not, then I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor. We have a comment. It says, "Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I was also hoping you would take comments on the motion to send back to PC. I had the following comments that I would have said had the public been allowed to comment on the motion. I hope you all think the Planning Commission is important, and as such, the discussion regarding training becomes more important. The comments below reflect my thoughts about the Planning Commission and why I would support sending it back to Planning Commission. In the 80s, I served as the Clemson City representative on the Appalachian Health Council. I have served on the Planning Commission in 2007 to 2010, the Board of Zone Appeals, and again on the Planning Commission 2018 to 2024. My last meeting was January 24th. There were 3 new PC members the following month in February when the hub came up, and after that meeting, a commissioner resigned. So now there are 4 new members on a 7-person commission. I think I'm correct in that of these 4, only 1 has served on a planning commission in another state. During my tenure, I learned how important training is, and other than the one who had been involved previously in another state, have any of these started training. It is a hard and complex job. It takes a lot to get familiar with zoning, the PC role, and all the procedures. I don't see it as a job that you can jump right in and get training later. So I do support the motion. There have been multiple significant changes to the project since they voted in February. I also would suggest that the Director of Planning and Codes plan a training session for the commission before they address the hub again. And if I could be available to the public so they could also, and if it could be available to the public so they could also better understand zoning, that would be awesome. Thanks. And the reporter is Donna London, but I have here, it says, thanks Elaine. So I'm not sure who submitted it, but it says Donna London on the letter. The next one is from Brennan Owens, and it says, development at Abernathy Park is overcrowding the area. And that is the comment. So those are the 2 comments that we received. All right, at this time, we're going to close public session, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Next item is the approval of minutes, or the possible approval of minutes on April 15th of 2024. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from April 15th, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you very much. Next, we'll go to reports and discussion. First is to discuss amending Article 3, Section 1373 to allow occupancy violation to be issued to the person in charge, not just the property owner. Jacob, I believe you're already coming up. I appreciate it.
Hello. So currently how the ordinance is written, you can only issue an occupancy violation to the owner of the property. Whereas that poses a problem is that we actually have to physically hand the violation to somebody. It's not something we can just mail or that type of thing. So a lot of these property owners live out of state. So all we're asking is that we already make it so to be part of the rental housing program, you have to assign a property manager or person in charge, as the ordinance describes them, that live locally. So we are requesting the ordinance be changed to be able to issue the violation to the property manager as well.
I have questions.
Yes.
Okay, so if I have a house and I live out of state, and Allie's living there and she throws wild parties, would I ever know then if there was an offense? I guess what I'm getting at is...
Yes, we send notices of offenses to the property owners and the property managers.
Okay, because what I'm wondering is that then there's no reason for me to change who I rent to because I may never know that you throw wild parties.
No, we can send notices to anybody in the mail. It's the physical violation to be a court summons has to, just like your ticket, in a car, you have to give it to them.
Is there any teeth that would force her then to be evicted after a certain number?
I don't believe the city can require a private contract to be terminated between 2 entities, but there's certainly emphasis that we can encourage them to. So like one of the things that's in the ordinance is they have to go in front of you guys, and historically, if a landowner evicts the tenants that are causing a problem, the city council has been more lenient on suspensions.
That's happened once that I can think of. Someone had, because there was multiple infractions in a short time frame before they get notification. They came to us, but they were in the eviction process. I mean, they were able to demonstrate they were doing that because we couldn't require it. And that's been a few years back, if I remember.
That is correct.
Yes.
So a parent owns the home, but parents not living there, the son, the daughter, and their whatever are living there. So in that case, who gets the notice? And this parent lives in some other part of the state.
Well,
That's the problem.
problematic.
Yeah.
So the parent, as the owner, is the only one who, well, will notice everybody, but the parent is the only one who can actually be issued a ticket as the property owner.
So, I mean, that's probably an occurrence more frequently than we realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can add it to be tenants too in certain cases. That's something we have discussed. If you want me to add that, just has that an option too. Say that, tenants of the property, property managers, or property owners. And we'll use our discretion. We won't give it to tenants all the time, but in certain situations.
Would this be something that you have, the property owner has to designate the person in charge with some form of like filing a paperwork with you guys?
In the rental housing program, they have to designate.
Right.
But there is a situation where you could have, so say you are just own the property and you're just letting your kid live there.
Right.
They're not part of the rental housing program because you're not renting it. So there would be no designated person in charge.
I
So
hear you. Okay.
in that
Okay.
situation.
Yeah.
Kind of what I'm thinking about, because I'm like.
It's a big chunk.
Yeah, where you have, son and daughter living in the house and they're obviously not paying rent. Maybe the other tenants are, but this particular person is not. So do you serve just the parent via the mail? Or the parent can designate the son or daughter to be the recipient of that notice, I guess.
They could theoretically.
Yeah, and if they were renting other bedrooms to other people, then they should be in the rental house.
See, that was my
Well,
question.
but even if they are, the point of it is, I can think of one in particular right now. It's in the middle of a bunch of stuff that's going on, and the parent lives in the lower part of the state, and the son is in that house.
And that's my question, is the occupancy rules, which I always loved. But if I'm a parent and my son is living there and not paying rent, am I still under the same occupancy regulations?
Yes, same occupancy regulations. So the occupancy, the parent and the kid will all count as one occupant, but then any friends they had living there would count as a separate occupant.
It's non-related.
Yeah, it's unrelated, and it doesn't matter to the rental housing program.
That's what I want to make
The
sure of.
occupancy limits are the same regardless if you're in the rental housing program or not. Because we've absolutely had situations where, might have one now, that you have a person living there who's just letting their friend live there with them.
Right.
And girlfriend and that type of thing, and they're not paying anything. And they are not rentals, but they still are a violation of the occupancy. And in that situation, it makes it very hard to physically give the ticket out. So we can expand it to be the tenants.
Yep.
So have you run this by any of the other property managers here in town to get their take on this?
Yes, we've talked to them.
They're all okay with it?
Yeah, they're okay with it. They understand they are responsible.
Okay, that's fine.
And this covers things like, because I know of a situation where a property management company signed a lease for 3 or 4 people to live in a house that only supposed to have 2.
Right.
So that group of students said, we didn't know, it's not up to us, and we haven't been able to do that. So this makes it easier for us to give violations and fines and all that kind of stuff to that rental management company.
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, what I'm hearing though is that you want me to expand this from how it's written now to also include potentially tenants in situations like we have discussed.
So tenants, person in charge, or property owner.
Okay.
I might argue that, every application or everything should have at least 2 people on it as contacts.
Yes.
Just like when you're at the hospital.
Could you have the property manager, somebody designate the person, because you may have a property manager that lives in Central or Seneca or something like that too. So, I agree with broadening, but what is your vehicle? Could you just designate that person kind of like you do for the party, or do you just need to leave it? Totally.
you're
So
saying-
on the application, so when they put in their rental housing application,
Yes.
you know who you're taking it to. You don't have anybody playing shuffling. It's not,
That's
oh,
correct.
you live here.
When they sign in the application, they have to designate a person at that time already. But again, this, if we expand this to be tenants, then we'll
Add the
scoop in the
tenant.
ones that are not in the rental housing program.
Yeah.
Because right now, if they're in the rental housing program, I'm probably gonna issue you the property manager, to be honest, even if it is tenants, but because it's, you know, just how it's done, but, okay.
So as long as we're on this horse, what about the fines themselves? How much are the fines?
That is determined by the courts, but $500, well, our portion of it's $500, then the state's portion and everything comes to about $1,100
All right.
is potential. But you don't always get a maximum fine.
Sure. Right.
That- I
Any
think that would
other
get my attention.
questions, comments for Jacob? Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you, Jacob.
Thank you for the direction. You're very
Thank
helpful.
you. Appreciate it. Have a great evening. Next is staff reports. Andy?
Conversations with council this Thursday, 6:30 at the depot. On the avenue is starting up next Tuesday at 5:30.
Next Tuesday.
And remember, you have a budget work session this Wednesday at 11:30.
Is that in here?
Yes, and lunch will be provided.
Thank you. Get the highlights. Appreciate it. Anything else? All right. Next, we'll go into policy action items. Remember, there is a 2-minute limit per speaker. So first, under policy items, is consider updating the tuition reimbursement rate for employee job-related training and development. Tracy? Awesome.
Thank you all. Tuition reimbursement amounts. Last council meeting, we discussed this, and our policy had not been updated in, my knowledge, at least 20 years. So we propose to increase the tuition reimbursement rate from $500 per semester to $1,800 per semester. And that would cap at $3,600 per year. So 2 times a year, we would offer that reimbursement. Any questions?
Questions, comments? All right. Comments from the public? If not, would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we update the tuition reimbursement rate for employee job-related training and development as presented.
Second.
All right, any comments, discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Next is consider awarding a construction contract for the Nettles Park Parking and Pickleball Expansion Project and bid to Foothills Contracting Service LLC for $932,228.50. Doing the 50 cents.
50 cents.
There you go. Nathan.
I'm sure y'all love the 50 cents. So this has been a project that we've been talking about for a while now. We had a long process. We had 3 bidders. 3 bidders were all fairly competitive. Foothills was low, $932,000 award. We believe it's a competent bid, and they're hoping, if awarded, they're hoping to break ground around June 1st. The idea is that Jay still has baseball that's going on to towards the end of May, so that would give the opportunity for that to end, and then we'd be breaking ground. About a 6-month construction period on that.
Cool. Great news.
Any questions?
Questions? All right. All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move we approve the construction contract for Nettles Park Parking and Pickleball Expansion Project to Foothills Contracting Service for $932,228.50.
Second. Okay. Comments, discussion, comments from the public? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand.
Did she?
Thank you all.
Thank you, Nathan.
John.
Appreciate it.
Nathan, how many courts is that going to add?
8 total boards, so
I'm not sure.
in groups of 4.
Okay.
Someone make,
I couldn't remember if it was 4 or 8.
comment?
I think she was going to make a comment before we voted.
So we have a comment? Yes.
I have a comment. Who are the main users of the pickleball court? Is it Clemson University students? Is it residents of the city of Clemson? Because My understanding is that Clemson University made a fraction of a small donation to the pickleball courts, but the university is one of the main users of, or the students are one of the main users of the pickleball courts. So who's footing the bill for all of this? Like,
So
And a name and address too. State name and address.
my name is Gay Ike Miller. I live in Central, but I'm representing my mom here on 210 Strawberry Lane.
So I'll answer a couple of those things, and please, anybody else chime in. So the university gave $250,000 for their contribution to help with the pickleball courts, but it's not just the pickleball courts, it's also parking that we very much need as well, that will improve that area at Nettles Park. So that total bid, you can see, is the expansion project that will include not just the pickleball courts, but expanding that area for us, for all the community to use at all times. So would anybody else like to chime in? Andy, did I miss anything?
A lot of this came about from the pickleballers who want to play indoor rec, and they needed some dedicated courts, and pickleball felt like they didn't want to have a retrofitted tennis court. They wanted a facility to use. So, and a lot of the people who were asking for that were not just Clemson residents, they were from the central Clemson area. People
And towards the lake and stuff.
Indoor rec, so it's going to serve a pretty large area.
So we had, and just to elaborate on that, again, everybody I think was on council when we had these numerous discussions on pickleball, how they're being used at the rec center indoors, and the issues of trying to use the outdoor space at Nettles and the indoor space at rec, and this was a good solution to bring the community together to
So how
expand.
much has the city already spent on the pickleball courts?
To my knowledge, I mean, yeah, I don't think there's.
No, everything else has been retrofitted.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, it's in-house.
Yeah.
And,
so
the university's chipping in about a fifth.
We were doing this project, we had already planned to do this project, and the university came in on the back end and offered to pay for part of it, knowing that students are a user of the group. That $250,000 from the university, we didn't, they came in and they did that towards the back end of the project. We were already planning on doing this. I mean, pickleball's the fastest growing sport in the world for the last 5 years, and we've had a lot of other people talking about it. It's come up in our Nettles Park master plan and other places that this was something that people wanted, so. it's been-
Thank you. All right, next is consider agreement by and between the town of Pendleton, the city of Clemson regarding the administration, management, and enforcement of local pretreatment program to comply with state and federal regulations to protect the Pendleton Clemson wastewater treatment plant. Benji.
Basically, this is the same agreement we talked about when we're doing the memorandum of understanding. This is a separate agreement to allow the Pendleton Clemson plant to enforce any pretreatment that may happen in the future. Currently, we do not have any industrial customers, but if there's a possibility in the future that DEC is requiring that we include this authority for the Pendleton Clemson plant to be able to go to set pretreatment limits for any industrial user that comes in, which actually protects the treatment plant.
Questions, comments for Benji from the public? We do have one comment, Benji. Is the proposed contractual agreement with the town of Pendleton to provide catboat service there in direct relations to Pendleton's new development at the mill site? And they thought it was in reference to item C. So this comment.
It must be for the next one.
That may be on screen.
No, it's D. Okay, I thought it was on C, and that's what I was looking at. Thank you, Benji.
Trying to mess with the judges doing things.
I know, I'm doing
Alphabet, you did go to Tennessee, so.
I will tell him I said C, so that's not on Robert.
So thank you for coming to my aid on that one.
That's not on Robert.
Appreciate that. All right, so would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the agreement by and between the town of Pendleton and city of Clemson regarding the administration, management, enforcement of all the wonderful things that Benji said as stated in his report.
Second.
Comments, discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is to consider a contractual agreement between the town of Pendleton and the city of Clemson for cat bus transportation service in the fiscal year 2024 and 25. Jerry, see y'all.
Bye, guys.
Thank y'all.
Andy
And so, Jerry, you heard that comment that we just received?
I'm sorry?
You heard that comment that we just received through online?
I didn't know.
Okay. Is the proposed contractual agreement with the town of Pendleton to provide cat bus service there in direct relations to Pendleton's new development at the mill site?
The answer to that is at this point, there's not a change that's been made. There is a clause in the contract that would allow for a change if it is proposed by the city of Pendleton rather than the developer. So that's part of the contract, is a way to modify that during the contract year.
And that was Nanda and she doesn't list her address, but we know she was here earlier this evening. So thank you, Jerry, for addressing that.
I do recognize that there's a 2-minute limit per speaker, but I'm not sure I can get through this list.
Remind me, is there a reason that we have to do all of these, or can we approve these as a package
Because they're all
if
separate.
he goes through these, and then only if we have an issue where we're not sure about one of them, we go back to that one and vote on it on its own?
FTA is going to require that you.
FTA, okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember, it's there.
I
tried this several years ago. I think I've tried it every year.
Okay, here we go. High Point in the city of Clemson for cat transportation services in fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Out of order. High Point is Jed.
I'm sorry.
So we'll go back.
Can we start with Pendleton?
We'll go back to the town of Pendleton.
And hold just a second. Yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
Sorry. Consider a contractual agreement between the town of Pendleton and the city of Clemson for cat transportation services in the fiscal year 2024 to 2025. The town of Pendleton shall pay $75,888 for service, and the Pendleton route shall consist of 3,012 hours of regular service, which I believe is almost exactly the same thing that we're doing this year.
Questions, comments for Jerry? Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion we approve the agreement between the town of Pendleton and the city of Clemson for cat bus services for 2024-2025.
Second.
Okay, comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much, Jerry. Keep going.
Consider a contractual agreement between Camp Clemson and the city of Clemson for cat bus transportation services in the fiscal year of 2024 to 2025. Camp Clemson shall pay $9,235 for the regular service. The Camp Clemson route shall consist of 111 and a half hours of regular service.
Questions, comments? Would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve item E under other policy and action items as presented. Second.
Any comments from the public? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much, Jerry. Keep going.
Consider a contractual agreement between Leadership Clemson and the city of Clemson for cat transportation services in the fiscal year of 2024 and 2025. Leadership Clemson shall pay $2,711 for service. The Leadership Clemson route shall consist of 30 hours.
Any comments, discussion, any comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve item F under other policy items as presented.
So just doing that. I like it. All right. Comments, discussion, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Jerry, keep going.
I just realized they're up there, so I'll.
It's okay. You know, you can use both, you know.
It's right above
Not when Andy keeps doing that.
Central and SWU.
Central SWU. Consider a contractual agreement between the town of Central, Southern Wesleyan University, and the city of Clemson for cat transportation services in the fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Town of Central will pay $47,236 for service. Southern Wesleyan University shall pay $18,425. And Central SWU route will consist of 2,202 hours of regular service.
Comments? Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve item G as presented under other policy items.
All right. Comments? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right.
It is efficient, I'll give him that.
Central Clemson Rec.
Pass it.
Right, one down. There you go.
CCRC. Consider a contractual agreement between the Central Clemson Recreation Center and City of Clemson for CAT transportation services in fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Central Clemson Rec Center shall pay $15,994 for service, and Clemson Central Rec Center route will consist of 177 hours. This is for the after-school program that
I
they're
was
doing.
going to ask, thank you.
All right. Comments? Comments from the public? All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve item H under other policy items as presented.
Second.
Okay. Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right.
Actually, Pier is first.
Yeah. Here, then High Point.
Consider a contractual agreement between the Pier, Court, SBA, and City of Clemson for CAT transportation services in the fiscal year 2024 to 2025. The Pier shall pay $119,154 for service. The Pier route shall consist of 1,872 hours.
Comments? Discussion? Public?
Just a quick question.
Yep.
Is this, I've been calculating, everybody's rate is totally different of what they're paying per hour. Are we at least cost neutral on this?
The reason for the differences depends on the ridership and the amount of grant money that we're able to get from the federal government based on the ridership. And so it does change from route to route. The base rate is just over $90 an hour.
Yeah, but this is $63 an hour, and we're talking about something that is further away.
Yeah.
And it's also for your developers that, I don't know if you guys have looked at that, but when I was sitting here.
Come up and give your name and so I can get you on the.
So that way we make sure.
I'll stand by you.
Okay.
I apologize. Herb Collar, 143 Folger Street, Clemson, South Carolina. My question is I've been calculating these different rates. There's a wide expanse difference in these rates. And certainly I understand that the CAT bus is very valuable to the city and the transportation needs and needs to be here in a big way. My question was, have we considered the fact that these, are we at least cost neutral based on grants and everything else that we get? Because this one going to High Point at the pier is the lowest one yet. And that doesn't make sense to me. But I'll leave that up to the experts. So that was my question.
There's not a subsidy. I mean, some routes, if they're new, they have to pay 100%, $90.36. If they've been in existence for a number of years, they're eligible for grant funding, then the allocation of that's based on ridership and the parameters he discussed.
Each of these have that attached to the proposed.
And the longer it's been there, the more it's eligible for from the FTA grants.
And it's purely a function of hours divided by cost.
Like this one, for example, has a $50,000 grant associated with it, the others might not. So that's where the fluctuation comes into play.
It also comes into play with the next contract because they're run simultaneously with the pier and High Point.
And the routes.
It's the same bus.
Right.
It goes from one route to the next on the same bus on each route. So there's all of that taken into consideration.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Andy.
Herb, when you add in the $50,000 grant, it comes out to $90.36, which is the per hour.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good with it.
No, it's good to get that explained
Yeah.
and where everybody.
Yep.
All right.
Bob, you're up.
Somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve item I under other policy items as presented.
Second.
All right, comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Jerry, one last one.
Yes. Consider a contractual agreement between the High Point and the City of Clemson for CAT transportation services in fiscal year 2024 to 2025. High Point will pay $119,154 to service. High Point route will consist of 1,872 hours.
I got a question. So I picked up a second ago, the same bus serves both the pier and High Point, right?
Right.
So essentially, they're paying $240,000.
For $3,700 hours.
Right, that's
Yes.
the point. I mean, so
Right.
it's not 119, it's actually $240,000 because it's one bus running it. How frequent is that bus run?
Right now, it's running every 30 minutes most of the day. There's a possibility, and this is back to a question that you asked a month or so ago when we were looking at it, of it going up. But again, there's a clause in the contract that would allow for additional hours at additional cost.
Other questions, comments from the public? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve item J under other policy items as presented.
Second.
Okay, comments, discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you, Jerry.
Let me add one thing that has nothing to do with items I through J at all. But we did this week receive the 3 new buses that we have talked about.
Good.
They're in the process of all that they go through for about 2 months. And at some point in the near future, we'll have one here for everybody to look at. So we're excited about that.
I assume we can rent it and take it out whenever we want to, right?
For $90.36 an hour.
That's a deal.
Load it up, it's done, baby.
Good response, Jerry.
City council party bus.
That's funny.
All right, next is the mayor council reports, comments, new business. I'll just start out real quickly. Shout outs to the community, Parks and Rec, police department, you name it, for the ribbon cutting for Dawson's Park. Also the ribbon cutting for Kilgore, the expansion of the playground out in Nettles Park. So big shout out to all those that came out. The community was great. Lots of young kids at the expansion of the park. And also, if you got a chance to go to Dawson, you really got to hear about the history of the park itself from Linda Dawson, which we greatly appreciate, and the community that was out there. So it will be a park to be used for many years to come based on the lease that we have, which is 25 years. So we're excited about that. So that's just a big shout out to those groups. So. Others?
I'm going to circulate it around to y'all as well, but back when we did the tethering ordinance, a year or 2 ago, had looked at and talked a little bit to Elaine Mascari and Margaret Thompson about just that first opening paragraph of that, and we met just a week or so ago, and just some relatively minor changes that I think will help kind of modernize that animal cruelty thing, because a lot of that first paragraph looks like it was written when we were all riding horses up and down College Avenue and like beating them and stuff like that. So, a little bit of modernization, a couple of minor additions just to that opening overall cruelty to animals stuff that I'm going to pass around the next little bit for us to possibly consider.
Thank you.
I have one. I will be absent for about 3 weeks. So I wanted to put on the horizon, since I probably won't be able to announce it, but the Juneteenth celebration, I believe it's going to be Wednesday, the 19th, but I am working to get the rest of the details. But I wanted to
put that out there, just tentatively. And if we get a confirmation, then Andy and Robert, I'll make sure you all get the finalized plans to be able to present that. But I will be out until at least June 17th, so I won't be able to give you any updates before then.
Do you need any help?
I'm sure they will, but I will let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sure they will.
I'll be at Clemson Elementary representing us for Career Day on Friday, telling them all about what council does. So I'll report back on all their fun questions.
Oh, that should be good.
Any other comments, new business reports? All right. Thank you all very much. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Have a great evening. Daniel sports are going on right now too.